Good evening and welcome to Biz RoundUp. I'm Tamir Nimsat and we at our television bring you a collection of business highlights. Let's have a look at the headlines. IMF Deputy Managing Director Geeta Gopinath plans visit to Sri Lanka. Government launches National Credit Guarantee Institution to boost SME financing. Ratnapura plans to host International Gem and Jewellery Exhibition in August. News in detail. The International Monetary Fund's first Deputy Managing Director, Dr. Geeta Gopinath, is set to visit Sri Lanka, marking the first such visit by a serving FDMD since 2005. Dr. Gopinath will be the guest of honor at the Sri Lanka's Route to Recovery, Debt and Governance Conference on June 16th. The event, co-hosted by the Minister of Finance, Central Bank of Sri Lanka and the IMF, will evaluate Sri Lanka's progress midway through the IMF-supported reform program. Discussions will highlight lessons from the country's efforts to achieve macroeconomic stability, debt restructuring and governance reforms while also addressing future challenges. Dr. Gopinath is also expected to engage in bilateral discussions with Sri Lankan authorities and key stakeholders to review and strengthen the IMF's ongoing collaboration with Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka welcomed over 21,000 international tourists in the first 5 days of June, pushing total arrivals for 2025 past the 1.05 million mark. The country still needs to attract over 150,000 more visitors to meet its target arrivals for the month.
Tourism earnings in May was $164.1 million, reflecting a 7% increase year-on-year, but also marking the lowest monthly income in 2025 so far. Central bank data showed that despite the positive annual uptick, May marked the lowest monthly revenue figure so far in 2025, in tandem with the low footfall during the month. India continues to lead as a top source market for June, contributing 6,014 visitors in the first 5 days, followed by the UK, China, the Maldives and Australia. On a cumulative basis for 2025, India remains in the lead with over 210,000 tourists, followed by Russia with 110,818 and the UK with 98,158 travellers.
One of the World Bank's latest reports reveals that heightened trade tensions and policy uncertainty could drive global growth down this year. Global Economic Prospects report shows that the turmoil has resulted in growth forecasts being cut in nearly 70% of all economies across all regions and income groups. World Bank's growth report shows that global growth is projected to slow to 2.3% in 2025, nearly half a percentage point lower than the rate that had been expected at the start of the year. World Bank Group's chief economist and senior vice president for development economics, Indermit Gill, says that outside of Asia, the developing world is becoming a development-free zone. Growth is expected to slow in nearly 60% of all developing economies this year, averaging 3.8% in 2025 before edging up to an average of 3.9% over 2026 and 2027. That is more than a percentage point lower than the average of the 2010s. Low-income countries are expected to grow 5.3% this year, a downgrade of 0.4 percentage point from the forecast at the start of 2025. Tariff increases and tight labour markets are also exerting upward pressure on global inflation, which at a projected average of 2.9% in 2025 remains above pre-pandemic levels. The report further adds that slowing growth will impede developing economies in their efforts to spur job creation, reduce extreme poverty, and close per capita income gaps with advanced economies. Per capita income growth in developing economies is projected to be 2.9% in 2025, 1.1 percentage points below the average between 2000 and 2019. Assuming developing economies other than China are able to sustain an overall GDP growth of 4%, the rate forecast for 2027, it would take them about 2 decades to return to their pre-pandemic trajectory with respect to economic output. The report argues that in the face of rising trade barriers, developing economies should seek to liberalize more broadly by pursuing strategic trade and investment partnerships with other economies and diversifying trade, including through regional agreements. It also stresses that given limited government resources and rising development needs, policymakers should focus on mobilizing domestic revenues, prioritizing fiscal spending for the most vulnerable households, and strengthening fiscal frameworks. The 8th National Project Management Excellence Awards 2025, along with the National Project Management Conference, will take place on October 24th in Colombo. This was announced at a press conference held in Colombo recently.
The National Project Management Conference, held alongside the main event, aims to enhance local expertise and help aspiring professionals reach international standards. PMI is recognized globally as the leading professional association for project management, connecting millions of professionals who use their skills to drive success across businesses, communities, and society at large. The National Project Management Conference will take place under an aspiring theme aimed at enhancing project management expertise across the country. This year also marks the 22nd anniversary of the PMI Sri Lanka chapter, which will be celebrated alongside these events. Any project management organization or institution registered in Sri Lanka can apply for the National Project Management Excellence Award 2025.
We at PMI Colombo Sri Lanka chapter excited to announce the Project Management National Conference 2025, which is scheduled to be held on 24th October 2025 at this hotel, Kingsbury, in Sri Lanka. So here we have hosted annual project management conferences every year since 2010. This is 8th project management conference going to be held under the theme of Digital Minds, Human Leadership, AI as a Catalyst for Project Excellence.
Stay tuned. We will return after this short commercial break. Welcome back after the break. Government officially launched the National Credit Guarantee Institution, aiming to transform fund access to SMEs, shifting away from traditional lending methods. This event, held in Colombo recently, signified the commencement of operations for the country's first dedicated credit guarantee institution.
For years, the lack of hard collateral has kept Sri Lankan SMEs, especially women entrepreneurs, from securing the capital they need to grow. But with a $50 million government equity infusion backed by the Asian Development Bank, the NCGI aims to reverse that. At the launch, ADB Country Director Takafumi Kadono said the institution will allow lending based on business viability and cash flow, not just collateral. The presence of Central Bank Governor Nandalal Veerasinghe at the event underscored the strong coordination among key financial institutions, all aligned in their commitment to revitalizing SME lending and fostering inclusive economic growth.
As you all know, this lack of collateral has been a significant barrier for many years for SMEs, particularly for women entrepreneurs to access financing. So ADB's support to SMEs go hand in hand with improving the banking and non-banking systems and capital markets. And as the leading development partner in this space, ADB co-chairs the Development Partners Economic Growth Working Group focused on SMEs together with the International Labour Organization here in Sri Lanka.
Speaking during the launch event, Deputy Minister of Finance and Planning Harshana Surya Peruma stressed the importance of reviving confidence among entrepreneurs and the financial sector.
Entrepreneurs will have the confidence to try again. SMEs will have the tenacity to go back to the finance sector and start borrowing. This is where it is very important for all of us to work as a team. This is why I mentioned at the beginning that it is possible, not alone, Madam, as the government, but together in terms of collaboration with the support of the ADB, with the support of the central bank, with the support of the private sector banks, and the state banks together, and particularly with the involvement of the private sector entities, that we are collaborating in this initiative to mark a key milestone as a nation, that as a country we can try, and as a country we can deliver.
Addressing the gathering, Central Bank Governor Nandalal Veerasinghe hailed the launch of the National Credit Guarantee Institution as a timely move to de-risk lending and strengthen financial access for SMEs. The Central Bank Governor called it a critical step toward building a more resilient and innovation-driven economy.
Finally, now we have a very important initiative that government has been able to establish this important National Credit Guarantee Institution. Obviously, I must thank ADB for providing initial capital, one of the constraints I think earlier had, as well as providing technical assistance to build institutional infrastructure, which is basically private-public partnership and also right governance framework. I think that is important to sustain this institution for a long period and expand the availability of credit, access to credit for a wider community, especially SMEs and MSMEs in a kind of emerging market economy. So understanding our current situation.
Stay tuned. We will return after the short commercial break. Welcome back after the break. The Export Development Board recently organized a networking and knowledge sharing session aimed at empowering emerging exporters across 5 key product sectors. The event was held at the EDB NDB Tower in Colombo recently with the participation from aspiring entrepreneurs and industry leaders.
The session brought together 100 participants, including small and medium enterprise exporters, indirect exporters, and representatives from established export businesses. It was an opportunity for new entrants in sectors such as tea, spices and coconut-based products, ornamental fish, processed foods, and herbal and Ayurvedic products to gain practical insights and guidance from seasoned professionals. The event featured a lineup of prominent speakers who shared their expertise. Vibhu Pereira, chairman of Lumbini Aquaria International Limited, captivated the audience with real-world examples of navigating the challenges of international markets in the ornamental fish sector. Sumit Jaivikrama, director of Basilur Tea Exports Limited, with nearly 4 decades of experience, emphasized sustainable business practices and adapting to market dynamics for long-term success in tea exports. Adding further depth, Vernon Aberatna, managing director of Joint Agri Products Ceylon Limited, shed light on the importance of building strong buyer relationships and ensuring secure international transactions, particularly in the spices and coconut-based product sector. Meanwhile, Chamari Vikramatilaka, a senior research scientist at Link Natural Products Limited, encouraged entrepreneurs to focus on product quality and certifications to establish global trust in herbal and Ayurvedic products. In his address, Samantha Thamel, managing director of Runcrisp Marketing Limited, stressed the value of international exposure through trade fairs and exhibitions.
The Sri Lanka Export Development Board, in collaboration with the International Finance Corporation and the European Union, has taken a significant step forward in empowering small and medium-sized enterprises. The Expo Scale-Up pitching event held at a hotel in Colombo highlighted Sri Lanka's commitment to fostering a globally competitive SME sector.
The Expo Scale-Up program, part of Sri Lanka Export Excellence Initiative 2025, aims to equip SMEs with skills in market research, branding, logistics and export marketing. 25 high-potential SMEs presented their strategic export plans at this dynamic event to a panel of investors, trade experts and development partners. EDB Chairman Mangala Vijayasinghe emphasized the critical role of SMEs in economic growth and thanked the European Union and IFC for their unwavering support. Gregory Smith from the IFC underscored the importance of empowering SMEs as key drivers of innovation and sustainability. Similarly, Dr. Johan Hess of the European Union highlighted how initiatives like Expo Scale-Up align with the EU's global gateway strategy, strengthening Sri Lanka's integration into international markets. Selected SMEs from diverse sectors including processed food, coconut-based products, spices, ICT, BPO services and handicrafts will now advance to the upcoming Expo Connect program.
The National Gem and Jewellery Authority announced the upcoming Gem City Ratnapura International Gem and Jewellery Exhibition 2025 to be held in August. The event is a joint effort by the National Gem and Jewellery Authority, the Ministry of Industry and Trade Development and the Sri Lanka Gem Traders and Miners Association.
Speaking at the media conference, Deputy Minister of Industry and Entrepreneurship Development, Chaturanga Abesinghe highlighted the challenges the industry has endured, noting a sharp decline in export revenue and international demand. The exhibition aims to re-energize the local gem and jewelry trade, attract international buyers, and contribute toward achieving the country's ambitious $1.5 billion export revenue target. Deputy Minister Abhay Singh emphasized that the event will not only promote high-quality Sri Lankan gemstones, but will also reinforce Ratnapura's global status as a leading gem trading hub. As the industry looks to rebound, stakeholders remain hopeful that events like this will bring renewed energy and investment into one of Sri Lanka's most iconic export sectors.
So as you all know, this started last year and it has gained immense traction and success, and therefore the government is keen to support this event this year as well with the support of the associations of Ratnapura and also the Colombo Gem and Jewellery Association. So this year again it will be held in Ratnapura in collaboration with all the stakeholders, and we all need to understand that Sri Lanka has a huge potential in gem and jewellery, but we were not able to achieve that goal for many years for many reasons. So the target that the government has set for itself in the short and the mid-term is to reach a target of about $1 billion in gem and jewellery trade.
With that, we wind up for today. For this and more, subscribe to our channel on YouTube and follow us on Facebook. See you tomorrow with State of Business at 7:45 p.m. Take care and good night.